So it's the day after, and we have two callers on the Command Extra post game show. We're gonna take those calls a little bit later. 240-303-2936 if you're gonna be in future videos. But I want to first talk about why I believe the Washington Commanders really lost the game versus the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. Because that game was very close. And the Washington Commanders came into the game limping with one of their star players out. And I genuinely believe that is the reason why we lost that game. Let's talk about it. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video. And in today's video, we're coming in with the video where we're going to be talking about the real reason why the Washington Commanders lost the game versus the Baltimore Ravens yesterday by a score of 30-20. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 8,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate it if you haven't reached that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Let's get straight into today's video. So, the Washington Commanders came into the game with Brian Robinson being up in the air all week. He did not practice, and he was going to be a game-time decision going into this game. And he was a big factor. Now, I want to say this, okay? I've heard a lot of people yesterday say Brian Robinson was not the reason we lost this game. If he played, we still lose this game. And I vehemently disagree. I could not disagree more with that statement, with that take or statement. Brian Robinson is a big part of this offense, and Cliff Kingsbury clearly doesn't know what to do without Brian Robinson. It seemed like with Brian Robinson being out, we lost our mojo. We lost what our offensive identity was because we weren't able to run the ball. It's already bad enough that we're facing a Baltimore Ravens team that is the best run defense in the NFL, and then you don't have your main guy. You should already knew it was going to be a tough day trying to run the ball. But what I will say that I really didn't like from Cliff Kingsbury yesterday was the abandonedness of the running game. Like, yes, of course, it did not work, but you don't go away from it, man. Jeremy McNichols had 2 carries for 9 yards. You keep trying to establish the run until it's too late. This was a one-score game for the most part of the game, so you still had your offense out in front of them. It seemed like we were too overwhelmed yesterday. It seemed like we didn't know what we wanted to do with Brian Robinson being out. And I hope a lot of people got to see up close and personal how important he is. Not that you guys don't think he's important, but for specifically Cliff Kingsbury offense, he is important because Cliff is a guy that wants to remain balanced. Yesterday, he could not remain balanced because he couldn't run the football. And a part of that was due to the Ravens' talented front, but also the part of it was due to not having your main guy. Austin Eckler is good, don't get me wrong, but Austin Eckler is a third down back. He's a receiving back. He's a guy that's going to give you 5 to 8 carries a game and have good runs, but he's not a guy that you can lean on for 15, 20 carries a game. That is more so for Brian Robinson. But I will say I didn't like the fact that Cliff kind of abandoned the run game, especially with the backs and Austin Eckler and more specifically Jeremy McNichols. Now, I will say we have to come up with better ways to run Jaden Daniels. If we're going to run him, I don't necessarily think we have to, but if we're going to run him and we're going to be on more design runs, we got to pick our spots and we got to know when to call it. He got crushed by, I want to say, was it Calvin or yesterday? And then Kyle Hamilton, hit him on a pass. Jaden Daniels hasn't been able to really use his legs this year unless it's on like a drop back pass scrambling. But for design runs, it necessarily hasn't been there, especially to the perimeter. I really don't know what we need to do to establish the run game for Jaden Daniels' legs if that's what we're going to do. But I feel like yesterday was going to have to be a big part of his legs, and we weren't able to do it. Like, again, I'm not trying to take no credit away from the Baltimore Ravens. Hats off to them because they are a good team, Super Bowl contending team, and they did a dang good job stopping Jaden Daniels in this rushing attack. But I will say this, and I'm going to stand on this. If we had Brian Robinson, we win this game. Okay, because that whole mindset flips. Cliff Kingsbury isn't pass. Cliff Kingsbury isn't abandoning the running game. Cliff Kingsbury is going to get screens out for Brian Robinson. He's gonna get contribution from both Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson. We have one of the best running back duos in the NFL, and when one of those guys, more specifically when Brian Robinson goes down, then that sucks because now Austin Eckler has to take on the load of being running back one. Austin Eckler literally told you in the offseason that is not what he wants to do anymore. He is not a guy that can take all those carries anymore. You can clearly see it. I just feel like the offensive game yesterday was bland. We weren't playing our style of aggressiveness. I think we punted too many times. I think we weren't like being ourselves. Like after sleeping on the game and watching the game, the Baltimore Ravens, they are a great team. Again, I'm going to reiterate that throughout the whole video. They are a great team, but they were beatable yesterday. We had opportunities to beat them. Yes, the defense was atrocious yesterday. I'm not saying that's not the case. We had opportunities to beat them, right? You know, you have the Alameda Zacchaeus drop. That is huge. You have the Austin Cyber missed field goal that changes your mindset. Going into the locker rooms down 13-17, and then you get the ball with the coming out the locker room with a chance of going up is a different mentality and mindset than going into the locker room after a missed field goal with getting the ball first, but you have to tie it up. Like it just changes your mindset. You have the no Noah Brown call, you know, with the pass interference. You have the Jaden Daniels no unnecessary roughness call. It was just a lot that we, you know, was facing against, and we didn't make it easy on ourselves at all. You know, a couple 4th and 5s from the midfield, 4th and 6, I would have went for them. You know what I'm saying? We in past we showed teams that we are aggressive and we're coming to win. We're not playing to lose. And yesterday it just felt off. And I'm putting it on the shoulders of Brian Robinson. I really am. It's not his fault he's hurt. That's not what I'm saying putting on the shoulders, but I'm saying Brian Robinson in the lineup allows this team to open up the playbook and allow us to remain balanced because of the threat of him and Jaden Daniels is something special. You don't really necessarily have that same threat in the running game aspect, at least with Austin Eckler and Jaden Daniels. I think, you know, Cliff, he was being too scared in a sense. I would have liked to see him take more shots down the field because this is a Ravens defense that was known to give it up through the air, especially down the field, and it just seemed off yesterday. I don't know if it wasn't necessarily clicking. I don't know what it is. It just didn't feel right, you know. But again, it's a long season. It's a good Baltimore Ravens team. Maybe they allowed the hype to get to them, and they felt like this was, you know, little bro, big bro, you know, game instead of just going into it with the mindset of, oh, we're trying to beat the Ravens. We ain't on none of that. There were moments in the game where I felt like they had their moments where they thought the Ravens were just too good and they respected them too much of a team. And it's nothing wrong with respecting your opponent, but you got to show your opponent that you ain't scared and you ain't bowing down to them. I think there were too many times during that game that we bowed down to the Ravens and we didn't show the aggressiveness that we showed in weeks prior. So I'm hoping we learn from this. I'm hoping that we can move on from this and we beat the absolutely crap out of the Carolina Panthers because again, Brian Robinson out of this game is a big reason. Don't let no one tell you that. Don't let no one tell you Brian Robinson not being in this game doesn't affect the outcome of this game because it does. You down there, you get an interception first drive. You have to settle for 3. You telling me if Brian Robinson wasn't in the game, we wouldn't been able to get a curry for about another first down or two, or another 5, 6, 7 yard gain, maybe a potential screen out to the right for Brian Robinson. He was a big key factor of this game. If Brian Robinson's in this game, we remain balanced. We're able to run the game, and we're potentially able to establish a running game. I understand how dominant the Ravens running game or running defense is, but they haven't faced a running back like Brian Robinson just yet. Brian Robinson is a step under Derrick Henry. Is he Derrick Henry? No, no one's Derrick Henry, but he is our Derrick Henry, and I feel like he would have gave them fits yesterday if he was able to play. Brian Robinson is still dealing with the knee. He still has some swelling on Saturday, so I don't necessarily expect him to play on Sunday versus the Carolina Panthers. But I mean, it's the Panthers, so hopefully we don't need him. But we need him for the long run. Okay, we can't be without Brian Robinson for a majority of the season, so that's why I believe it's good to let him rest. But I'm telling you all, after watching that game yesterday, even with the miscues, even with the drops, even with the penalty flags, even with you know, the non-calls, even with the defense giving it up, even with the Benjamin St. Juice pass interference that wasn't a pass interference, even with, you know, Mark Andrews scoring a touchdown, even with Zay Flowers killing us, Rashad Bateman, we still had an opportunity to win the game and win the game late or early, middle parts of the game. There were opportunities there. It was opportunities galore, and we just could not take advantage of them. And I think it's solely on the shoulders of Brian Robinson, because Cliff Kingsbury clearly isn't the same Cliff if he doesn't have a running game. So with that being said, shout out to the Ravens. They made us one-dimensional, took away the run game. Jeremy McNichols, Jay Daniels, and even Austin Eckler could not combine for at least 90 yards total. They shut us down big time. So shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. But I do want to say, in my opinion, at least after watching the game again, the Baltimore Ravens, they got lucky that we didn't have Brian Robinson. Because if we had Brian Robinson, I feel like the outcome would have been different. Now, let me go ahead and put on my headphones, because I want to take the two callers that took their time out their night yesterday to call into the Command Extra Post Game Show 240-303-2936. I told you guys I want to make this its own separate video, but no one seems to call in. So if you want to have your voice heard in the video after the game, call in to the show. So let's go ahead and get to these two callers.
Hey Juan, let me tell you this, Mo. and I mean this in the most disrespectful way to Benjamin St. Juice. You's a bitch. Hey Juan, don't cut none of this out either, Juan. Put this on the motherfucking channel, Mo. Hey, Benjamin St. Juice, I mean this you know how people be like, respectfully? No, I mean this disrespectfully. You's a bitch. You's a whole bitch. Benjamin St. Juice, bro, you is a bitch. And I will smack the fire out your bitch ass if I ever see you. And I put that on everything I love, Mo. You's a whole bitch. A whole bitch. Straight up. Bitch ass nigga. But shout out to you, Juan. I fuck with the channel, though. Benjamin St. Juice, bro.
Man. Yeah, hey, look, y'all. I know. I apologize for that, okay? I know a lot of y'all like, I don't like that vulgar language. Hey, look, y'all. You gotta understand something, Slim. Some people just like that, okay? So I know there are a lot of people that don't like hearing that. So if that's not your language, I understand you. Stop watching the video at this point. But hey, some of our fans like that, and I'm not mad at them, bruh. Some people express their emotions differently, okay? So, look, I ain't gonna call BSJ no BITCH. Don't know the man personally. Have a ton of respect for him because he went out there in battle, bruh. Man, time he not good, but he's a third-round pick, y'all. Like, we got to put into perspective what it really is. He ain't Emmanuel Forbes. If he was Emmanuel Forbes and getting cooked like that, cool. If you had this energy for Emmanuel Forbes, what you should, who was a healthy scratch yesterday, that speaks volumes. At least Benjamin St. Juice could go out there and suit up and play. They told Forbes, yeah, bro, we don't need you. With how bad our cornerback room is, can you put it in perspective, y'all? Our cornerback room is horrible. And our first-round pick from 2 seasons ago isn't good enough to suit up in this horrible cornerback room. That should let you know how they view bruh. They don't think he's any good. So if you had this smoke and this static for Forbes, that you know what I'm saying, I'm 100% behind. And I'm not saying I'm not. I don't get where you coming from, but bruh, Juice is a third-round pick. In my opinion, he's exceeded expectation. He's not a cornerback one. He's not supposed to be a cornerback one. He's not supposed to be shadowing Zay Flowers. He's not supposed to be on Zay Flowers majority of the game. That is supposed to be Emmanuel Forbes, bruh. That is supposed to be 1-3. Where is 1-3 in street clothes? Benjamin St. Juice is a third-round pick, exceeded expectation. I wouldn't mind having him back in a cornerback 3 capacity next year because he can play at this level. He's just asked to do more than what he can handle. I'm not making an excuse for him because in the moment I was pissed off too because I wanted him to play good and I want to get stops on people. But he's a third-round pick, bruh. He's exceeded expectation. He was drafted by Ron Rivera. What can we do? We can't put out Emmanuel Forbes. He's no good. Thanks for the call, my brother. I understand your frustration. We good though, bro. Man time, bro. We good. We 4-2, Mo. We straight. We coolin'. We got the Panthers next week. We gonna shake back. We alright, Slim. Alright, get on to the next caller. My last call. Thank you for calling.
Bro, what in the fuck was that by the defense, bro? That is probably the worst display that I've ever seen in my entire Commanders watching life. They got burnt on the same 5 motherfucking plays. Toss to Henry, a dive by Henry, out by Zay Flowers, and two other routes that I can't even remember off the top of my head right now by the same motherfucking play over and over and over. They could not get one stop after that first quarter. They got a lucky ass fucking interception because the ball on an out route tipped off Andrew's fingers and went right to Mikey, who's also a dog. But that defense is absolutely motherfucking atrocious. And Joe Witt Jr. should be fired. Kick him out the building. Dan Quinn should take over defensive play calling because Joe Witt Jr. is not it. You get toasted on the same 5 plays. The same 5 plays! Same 5 plays, bro. Same 5 fucking plays. You got torched the entire game. The entire game. And don't get me started on Zacchaeus. Bro, you cannot drop a pass in the red zone, bro. In a high leverage situation, when we have to go blow for blow with these motherfuckers, you cannot drop that pass. I don't give a fuck what you do. You gotta catch the pass and then try to go upfield. This motherfucker had put his hands on the ball and then tried to go upfield and dropped it. And that's what really set us behind the 8 ball. Not scoring a TD after the interception and Zacchaeus' drop in the red zone. We would have been possession with these motherfuckers, and we had a horrible defense. Bro, this offseason, we better go get some corners, and we better get fucking Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen out of here. Because they ain't worth the fucking pennies that we're paying them. They're not worth a fucking cent. They really aren't. They was getting torched on that dive. Every play. Every play. Every play! But let's go back to the offense, though. Terry McLaurin, fucking dog. Absolute fucking dog. His tracking the ball skills is second to none. Second to motherfucking none. And Jaden Daniels, oh, we got one now, bro. We got one. That kid, he's not rattled. It doesn't matter if it's pressure, he is going to make some kind of plays happen. And he's going to keep you in a ball game, and he's going to allow you to try to win, and he's going to make winning plays. Once he gets more comfortable in the NFL, and we get more O-linemen to give him a couple more seconds, we get some better receivers, this team starts getting billed by Adam Peters the right way, watch out, bro. Watch the fuck out.
Oh, that was a lot to unpack there, man. First things first, I was just like on the Joe Witt hate train a couple weeks ago, but I had to come to realization he doesn't have the dogs. He has the mentality. He knows what he wants to see out of these guys, but he doesn't have the dogs on the back end. So I had to reel in my expectation. I had to reel in my criticism of Joe Witt Jr.'s defense until he gets the players in place that can play. He doesn't have the players in place that can play. Frankie Louisville, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Chin. Am I missing anybody that can play on this defense? Mike Sanford still. Am I missing anybody else? Quan Martin? Percy? I don't know. He doesn't have the dogs. He doesn't have the guys that you heard the intro. I didn't play it today because it's been lagging. But we're gonna play with we're gonna play with this aggressiveness. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. You can preach it all day. He can call it into the headset all day. He can play man coverage all day. But we don't have the dogs to play man coverage. What can he do? His hands are tied behind his back at this point. Dan Quinn could jump in and call defense, and it may be a significant upgrade. But the truth of the matter is that we're not going to truly get the results that we desire until we go to the to the draft and before that free agency. People want to talk about trade for J.C. Horn at the deadline. I would not mind it at all, but I don't know if that's a realistic situation. I don't know if Adam Peters is in a situation where he wants to give away draft capital and give away and mortgage the future for a guy that you don't even know if it's going to be here next year. So, that being said, I think we're stuck with what we have. I think you put Noah Iguanagany on your fastest receiver, because I think Noah Iguanagany was the best matchup for Zay Flowers yesterday. I think he should have been on him the whole time. I think Benjamin St. Juste should have been on Rashad Bateman, and I think Mike Samuel should have been swapping in and out the slot, and with Zay Flowers if they needed to switch things around. That's what I would have did. That's would have been my matchups all day yesterday. Since we ran a lot of man, I wouldn't have had Benjamin St. Juste on Zay Flowers because clearly he can't stick with him. That Alama Zacchaeus drop was huge, and I do agree with you. I think that was the turning point of the game. I think that was where we lost the game, honestly speaking, because again, like you mentioned, we had to go blow for blow, pound for pound, punch for punch with this team, and we were on the verge of doing that because 5 delivered yet again. And Alama Zacchaeus counts his chickens before they hatched. He turned up the field before he had the ball. So we can't have that, man. It's tough. It sucks, but y'all, we're 4-2. We're good, y'all. We are good. I know more victories in the NFL because I dang sure wanted to win this game. Don't get me wrong. I definitely wanted to win this game, and in my opinion, we should have won this game. However, what I take away from this game is that we are a team that is here. We're a playoff team, and hell, we're even a Super Bowl contending team. There's not too many games left on the schedule that I think the Washington Commanders are going to lose. We played our toughest game, and we went toe-to-toe with the Baltimore Ravens. It just so happens that we did not execute as good as we should have. There were too many missed opportunities, and when you have too many missed opportunities, a Super Bowl contending team and a good team like the Baltimore Ravens is going to eventually take advantage of it, and that's what they did. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Want to road to 8,000 subscribers. So we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. You guys hear how the Command Extra Post Game Show hotline get. Make sure y'all call into it to be a part of it. 240-303-2936. You can be just like these two fellas that called in. I don't care if you're cursing. I don't care if you're clean. I don't care if you're professional. Man, show your emotion for this team in a negative, in a good, in a positive or negative light. Be yourself. Get up here and be yourself and give your overall synopsis of the game, whether it's good or bad. But moral of the story, y'all, we're 4-2. We're good. We have the Carolina Panthers at home next week on Darryl Green's retirement night. Let's go ahead and move on past the Baltimore Ravens and move on to the next game. See y'all in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe to watch the Commanders. Don't forget to use my promo code JGTS to get $20 off your first purchase on SeatGeek. See y'all later. Peace.